Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with another handbag video, and this is going to be a kind of unboxing of the Chanel GST, but I didn't quite get it in a box, but I did get a box. I'll explain later. But basically I bought my Chanel bag from Heathrow, and I kind of wanted to explain the process that I went through because I wasn't flying out of Terminal 3, which is where the Chanel store is. I was actually flying out of Terminal 2, but I utilised their personal shopper service to be escorted through to Terminal 3 in order to purchase my bag. And so I thought this might be a kind of useful video for anyone considering doing the same, because I know, you know, people fly out of Heathrow all the time, but you don't always get lucky enough that you can fly out of Heathrow Terminal 3. So I thought I'd share my experience and kind of give you any tips in case you wanted to do the same. So yeah, I'm going to unbox the bag first, or rather show you the bag first, because again I don't quite have a box for it, although I kind of do, and then I'll get into how you can do the same at Heathrow. So here is the bag itself, and as I said, I got a Chanel GST and I got it in the black colour with the gold hardware, and I think there might be two sizes of this, but this is just the regular size. I think there's an extra large as well, but I just wanted the classic. I'm sure you guys have seen tons of GST reviews and reveals, so I'm just going to go over this quickly, but it just has the classic Chanel CC on the front with the pocket on the back, and I did get this in black caviar with the gold hardware, and you can just see that it's the classic Chanel chains right here, and they do have these straps which they don't have on any of the classic flaps, which I just think is a really good idea because it's just going to make it a lot more comfortable to wear. And then on the bottom, quite unusual for Chanel bags I think, it does have this kind of plain bottom as opposed to the quilts being carried through, but I don't really mind that. It's the bottom of the bag, it doesn't really bother me. And then on the inside you see, I mean, it still has its tissue paper in, but I take that out, and it also has this, I know it's like this cushioned card thing, I'm not sure what that's for, but you see, I mean, there's just a ton of room in there, so for a work bag, which is what I'm going to use this for, I think it's just going to be really practical. I love the fact that not only do you have these two really big compartments, but you also have a zip there and also a further pocket on this side without a zip, and then you also have that main compartment right there. So it's really good for security and just compartmentalizing things and just making sure that, you know, everything's organized and that you know where everything is. Love that about it. I also really like the fact that it's not lined in leather, and I know some people aren't such a big fan of that, but anything that's going to make the bag lighter I think is always a good thing. I'm not a huge fan of really heavy bags. I carry around a ton of stuff, so if the bag is going to be lighter because they put, you know, fabric or cotton lining in, that is all good by me. And then you also have this, I guess it's like a keychain, something to kind of hook things onto, which I think is really, really useful. And then of course you just have the, it's made in Italy, this one, so the Chanel made in Italy. I don't think you'll be able to see that, it's just the little sign there. So yeah, in terms of the look of it, I'll just kind of model it for you guys if you can see that. And it is, I mean, it's quite boxy, but I do like that about it. I think that, you know, I don't know, I feel like the boxiness kind of makes the tote, and I also was kind of surprised in that I've seen these from afar, I've never actually tried it on before, and now that I have it with me, it's a lot smushier than I thought. You know, the leather really is a lot softer, which is why I think you see more wear on GSTs, but I don't actually mind that. I like the idea that it's kind of gonna mould with time and kind of soften a bit, so I'm quite pleased with that. And in terms of the straps, this was the one thing that really does concern me about it, in that the straps do fall off quite a bit. And I did read, I think it was on the purse forum, that one of the ladies there was actually hooking under the straps or over the straps. I'm not 100% sure, but she said that did stop it slipping, so I am going to try that out. Hopefully it will also, with time, that the straps might mould my shoulders so they won't I was going to say strip off. They won't fall off as much, not strip off. So yeah, that's the bag. in terms of choosing it, I do already have a black caviar jumbo, again with gold hardware. And so I had been kind of umming and ahhing over this bag for a while, and I've always really liked the look of it. I think it's a very nice classic bag, but my concerns were that it was just a little bit old in terms of style for me, and I just wasn't sure that it was worth getting when I loved my classic jumbo so much, and it had, you know, the same leather and the same hardware. But I decided to get it because realistically I just don't really use my jumbo for every day. I find it a little bit small and also just a bit fancy for every day, you know. I don't really want to take it out just when I'm going to work or just running errands or things like that, although you can. I think it looks super chic when people do that. I think it's the kind of bag that goes with sweatpants or with full-on dress. Like, I just think it looks great, whatever. But I wanted a slightly lower key Chanel bag, not lower key in terms of look, but lower key in terms of, I guess, maintenance and kind of just stressing about the bag. So I thought this might be a good kind of compromise. I mean, it's not a cheap bag by any means, but it's definitely cheaper compared to the jumbo. I think it's even about, I think it's half the price, so it is considerably cheaper, and that did kind of sway my decision. But the more I have it and the more I look at it, the more I really like it. So I'm just so thrilled with my decision. I'm so glad I have it, and I'm really excited to start using it. In terms of actually buying it from the boutique, I did actually get a box with it, and yeah, I got the bag. I did get a couple of things from Chanel, not just the bag, but I did ask for a box because if you buy, I don't know if it's for every bag, but certainly with the GST, if you buy the GST from Heathrow, they don't automatically give you a box, so you do have to ask for it. And I was just expecting the kind of thinner, flimsier cardboard box, and she actually gave me one of the really sturdy ones, and it's absolutely massive. I mean, look at that, it's huge. And I think this is even maybe the magnetic one, I'm not sure, but yeah, I was super pleased with that. It was really nice of her, so I'm gonna construct that and use it to store my bag when I'm not using it. So in terms of my actual experience of shopping from Heathrow, it was pretty seamless in terms of all the organisation and how it went. I really do highly recommend it to anyone wanting to visit the Chanel boutique but not being lucky enough to fly out of Terminal 3. And all I did was I contacted the personal shopper team, I think it's called. I'll leave the link below, but I just googled it and I found their contact details, and I sent them an email saying that I wanted to shop at Chanel. I had a few things on my wish list and could they make that happen for me. They responded really quickly, and basically they explained the process, which is just that you have to give them the item number or numbers that you want, and they'll try and find it for you, and I think it's 24 hours before you fly out. Then they'll try and reserve it, and if they manage to, then they will arrange a transfer for you. I think you can still visit even if you don't reserve an item, but I didn't have that experience. I knew I wanted something, and I went ahead and picked the GST just because it was on my wish list, and whilst I didn't have the code number for it, I did know the style in general, and it's a pretty distinctive bag, so they weren't going to confuse it with anything else. So I contacted them 24 hours before. I think they do actually go ahead and contact you without you having to contact them, but the day before my flight, all I wanted to know was, did they have this bag and could they reserve it for me? So I contacted them, and they did say that they had managed to reserve it, and at that point they gave me the details of my personal shopper, and I think I got her phone number and email address maybe, and her name. Actually, I didn't get her email address because I don't think that they have personal email addresses, but I did get her mobile number, and they gave me instructions which were to basically arrive, I think it was 3 hours before my flight. And to contact her, and basically she would take me to Terminal 3. I would advise really getting there with enough time, so 3 hours in my opinion is cutting it a bit fine if you do want to do other shopping and if you just want to browse and have a nice relaxing experience. I think I left 3.5 hours, and I think that was pretty much perfect. Yeah, again, I just think anything less than that you might be a bit rushed, and it really does depend on security as well. I think I went through security 3 times in total. It was a lot, so I had to go through security initially to get into Terminal 2, and then once I was there, the personal shopper met me in Terminal 2, and then I had to go into Terminal 3 and then back out into Terminal 2. So you have to do the whole liquids, being pat down if you set off the alarm, you have to do the whole thing. So A, I recommend that you leave plenty of time, and B, travel light. You know, I checked in my luggage because I knew I wanted to do it. All I had was my tote bag, and I still had a bit of a faff in terms of getting all my liquids out, you know, my lip balm, just things like that. And don't buy a coffee when you arrive in the terminal because you will have to throw it away because, again, the liquid thing with security. So keep those two things in mind. And when she actually saw me, my personal shopper, she was like, oh, thank goodness, you're traveling light. Sometimes people don't do that and it's a nightmare, so always travel light if you can. Apart from that, it's really pretty seamless in the sense that the personal shopper has done this before. Obviously it's her job, so all she'll do is, you know, you get in contact obviously when you're there. I just phoned her and then she sent me a message saying, I'll meet you in 5 minutes. She was really prompt. We went through, you know, all the security, and I think we had to take a bus to Terminal 3. Again, it does depend what terminal you're flying out of as to how much time it's going to take you to get to Terminal 3. Heathrow is huge, so it can take a really long time. How much time did it take us? I think it was like 15 minutes or something to get there. Maybe, yeah, probably about 15 minutes. But I think we were quite quick because I think we were meeting at about 6:30 or 7 in the morning, so it was really, really early. If you're flying at a busier time, then again, you should account for that in terms of time, so just make sure that you're not rushed and you're not stressed, because I think buying from Chanel should always be a happy experience, and if you're just rushed and stressed, it's not going to be as good. Once you're in Terminal 3, it's really just like you were flying out of Terminal 3. You can go to as many shops as you want. I think they have a Gucci there and a Cartier and a whole bunch of other shops. I only wanted to shop from Chanel from Terminal 3, so we went straight there. They had the bag that I wanted, she brought it out. The one that she brought out initially did have a bit of a funny dent in it, and I did mention this, so she did bring out, I think it was 3 others to choose from, so I just picked my favourite out of those. And then I did want a couple of other items, so I spent a while choosing those as well. And yeah, Bob's your uncle, that was pretty much it. I checked out and I got escorted back through security and through security again, and yeah, it was just really, really simple. One thing that's also worth mentioning is that the savings can be pretty substantial. I know that for this, well, it's kind of difficult to tell because I had bought my GST just after the price increase, which is annoying, but it still worked out cheaper buying it from Heathrow than it would have been before the price increase at a regular non-duty free store. So you can save quite a bit of money. I also did buy a wallet on a chain, which I will reveal in my next video, which is the Heathrow haul video, and I know I saved, I think, £200 on that, which is a much cheaper item as well. So again, it's well worth the money if you can make it through to, well, Terminal 3 or use the service, because you can save substantial amounts if you're buying bigger items like Chanel. I absolutely recommend that you do get a Heathrow rewards card. I think you just apply for it on the website and they do send it to you, and it works the same as any other rewards cards, but you just, you know, use it when you pay, you collect points. I think after a certain spend, then it actually triggers like a platinum level or something, and then you get triple the amount of points. So just from this last Chanel trip, I think I have £35 to spend, something like that, and now it's going to be even more if I did spend the same, because I think I'm on triple points. So it really does mount up, and you know, who doesn't like free things? So, you know, I can use that towards a meal or some makeup or anything like that. So definitely recommend to do that. And that's about it. She did give me her business card as well when we were parting ways, and she said that I could contact her anytime I wanted when I was passing through Heathrow if I wanted to visit Terminal 3 again or any of the other terminals. She did also mention that they have either recently started or about to start doing a transfer service, where if I wanted something from Louis Vuitton in Terminal 5, for example, they could transfer the piece to Terminal 2 where I was, and I could just purchase that way. So there are a ton of options, and it was just, the whole thing was made very, very seamless. And I think Heathrow are really trying hard to kind of open up and promote shopping within their terminals, and the shopping is just getting better and better, so I am all for that. I did get a couple of other things, as I just mentioned, and I was going to include them in this video, but I think it's just going to be too long, so I will do a separate Heathrow haul video because I did get a few things from other places, and yeah, I'll show you guys what I got in that video. So once it's up, or once I film it, I will link it down below so you can check that out if you're interested as well. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you do have any questions about the whole process or about the bag, then please do leave a comment below and I will be more than happy to try and answer it for you. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!